I hear people say the GNU is not going to last. I heard Mr. Malema said it's not going to last. I came here today to tell you the GNU, and you must take it from the bad boy of the GNU. If there's going to be a problem, I will be in the center of whatever problem might arise there. The GNU is going to last for the next 5 years. And we run the risk of South Africans loving this GNU so much that they give us another 5 years of GNU. People said I'm excited for my job. That was the most apt description. Because I'm excited to bring white, black, Indian, colored together as one. We are a... I want to tell you about the GNU because I think my time is over. The President Ramaphosa was invited by President Macron a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And President Ramaphosa said no, he would not be able to make it, but I will represent him. And when I was in Paris, I was invited, I was telling the former deputy president, I was invited to all these big events that the other ministers of other countries were not invited to. The first three I felt very important. I thought it's maybe my intellect, but I soon realized it's nothing to do with my intellect. It is all to do with the GNU. They are curious about the GNU, the presidents of other countries, and that's why they invited me. But I still enjoy the food and the nice seats that the president sat on. And I'm here today to tell you, I heard Mr. Malema said it's not going to last. I hear people say the GNU is not going to last. I came here today to tell you the GNU, and you must take it from the bad boy of the GNU. If there's going to be a problem, I will be in the center of whatever problem might arise there. The GNU is going to last for the next 5 years. And we run the risk of South Africans loving this GNU so much that they give us another 5 years of GNU. Why am I saying the GNU is going to last? Because everybody goes around and say that the ANC needs this. They're not lying. The ANC needs this. But the DA needs it more. And nobody talks about that. Because we're eating them up in the Western Cape. They can't afford to have me in and they're outside. So that is a good mixture of all of us. And I also need this GNU. I mean, look where I'm standing today. And so people should not act like they don't need the GNU. I tell you one inside story of the GNU. On this side of me sat Peter Groenewald in the GNU. Where's the CEO, the member of your party? Freedom Front Plus. You even mentioned it here in front of the former deputy president. On this side of me sits the president of the PAC. One day, I think I was put there to make peace by President Ramaphosa between these two. One day we're having a debate on a matter. And I knew that my views aligns with the views of the Pan-Africanist Congress on that particular matter. But the PAC, I put something forward and the PAC and the Freedom Front Plus ganged up against me. And their ideas saw the light of day and mine didn't. During lunch, I called the president of the PAC one side. I said, how Kanzan? What's happening? Ari, no, you must understand. He's my partner. I said, how is he your partner? He says, you must understand. They're the PAC of white people. So, I want to say to South Africans, people said I'm excited for my job. That was the most apt description. Because I'm excited to bring white, black, Indian, colored together as one. We are a colorful nation. I'm excited for what we are going to do together as a country. I'm excited for the vibrancy of young children coming to Freedom Park, buses standing here for the children coming here on a daily basis. If the security guard didn't work, he's about to work because there's a new minister. He's going to write bus number plates coming next. Wait, there's still 60 buses waiting. Wait, work is going to start. Now to everyone here, I beg you. You know, President Cyril Ramaphosa was in the shadow of Nelson Mandela. He was there when he came out of jail. He was there throughout his career. He had him on speed dial. And I can tell you, he has learned. And today I want you to know that President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa took the road less traveled. The easiest way for the ANC to be in power was only to involve two parties, PA and EFF. But that wasn't the road less traveled. Because you make me angry, I'm out of there, you'll be out of power. But he chose the most difficult path. And people criticized him and said he took a sellout position. I'm here today to tell you, I didn't speak to Cyril Ramaphosa, President Cyril Ramaphosa. I didn't like President Cyril Ramaphosa. I spoke ill about President Cyril Ramaphosa. I've never had a day in my life where I spoke well about President Cyril Ramaphosa. He knew that, I knew that, we were enemies. But he looked deep inside himself for the Mandela in him. And he appointed a man as in his cabinet that never spoke well of him. He put his personal feelings towards me aside. And he put the country first. And for you to come here and say that will not last. And I want to say to those that say President Cyril Ramaphosa sold out, including in the ANC, you don't know how you missed a bullet. If you were leaving the fate of the ANC in the hands of me and Julius Malema, you might have been out of power already. But because he's a visionary, he understood, even if I get angry and I leave, that GNU is still standing. He put the country first. And I want to end by telling everybody here, the lady that taught me how to speak properly, she did it because of Mandela. She found the Mandela in her. The gentleman that gave me my first job found the Mandela in him. Cyril Ramaphosa, by bringing everyone together like Mandela did, found the Mandela in him. When I helped that young boy, despite being a racist, I found the Mandela in me. And I'm wishing and praying today and instructing you, it's time for us all to find the Mandela in us. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a riveting speech. In my view of Gayton Mckenzie, I actually see a potential, rainbowist, another Nelson Mandela in the making. And, his message of unity has actually been unchanging ever since he, spoke about how he got out of the criminal lifestyle and really started, a journey towards entrepreneurship and motivational speaking and all that. His message has been the same. And I'll be making other few videos about his parts where he speaks about his life in prison and what actually made him change his mind, especially when Mandela left Robben Island and the circumstances with which he decided to change his outlook for white people. He actually argues that he was initially racist and he really didn't understand the hate that actually came from white people, but that Nelson Mandela taught him forgiveness. And the incident in prison when he actually encountered, I'll be making a video on this anyway, where he encountered a white boy being raped and that was actually the beginning of his turning point, in his outlook to life and his outlook to the racism that had actually been buried deep in him growing up as a colored youth in South Africa. And you see, this is actually one of the reasons I actually say that South Africa is actually bound with a lot of potential. If there were millions and millions more people, black people like Gayton Mckenzie, thinking the way he thinks, I think there would actually be, a certain form of cohesion. But many actually also blame the fact that, he speaks the way he speaks because he has actually gained from whiteness or white people in that regard. And so that's why the likes of the progressives actually still see him as a sellout. They see him as I think I've seen a lot of comments on this channel. Many of you have actually called him a puppet, and this would always be the two divides who South Africans would actually always need to fight with, because at the end of the day, even in one of his speeches, which I'll be also making, he speaks about how there hasn't been equality. So a lot of all South Africans have actually failed Nelson Mandela in that regard, because while Mandela stood and tried to fight for equality, in that the wealth that was actually gathered by one section of the society should actually be spread and achieve at least a reasonable level of equality, that has not happened. And there's still wealth, gathered in the hands of a particular group of people in South Africa, while the rest still remain poor. And mind you, that part of South Africa doesn't necessarily have to be whites, you see, but there are also black elites, so to speak, that have actually been propped up to the detriment of the wider black poor majority. And so this is Gayton Mckenzie's fight and his push, and he actually tries to plea that there should be a way to begin to address the national question and how South Africans can move forward with the national question, to where colors in the debate, where the Indians in the debate. He speaks a lot about how many of the Indians in South Africa have not really been recognized and given a due rightful place, as citizens in South Africa. And he's really, that's part of what the things that irritate him and really pushes him to fight, that he's really trying to fight for all South Africans and not necessarily for a particular group, they're white, black, but whatever, but all the people that make up South Africa, especially the legality of that citizenry, is actually something that he's really passionate about, and that, he's not he's not going to give room to tolerate, illegal foreigners, so to speak. So this is actually, for me, I think that this was a very interesting speech. And also in terms of the GNU actually seems to be propagating this whole nuance in the search for the national question. And after these 4-5 years, I know the ANC Congress is coming soon. I don't know if President Cyril Ramaphosa will still be there, the one there. But if the incoming president, still also has this burden and a heart for the national question, then we might be really seeing a real return to Nelson Mandela's rainbowist nation. And then, we need to begin to really consider what the wider impact of that rainbowism would be for the wider Africa, especially coming to note with the fact that, there are different streams of Pan-Africanism growing across the continent, as I see in West Africa, the Gen Zs in Kenya as well, and then we also have the Progressive Caucus in South Africa. So what impact would that real return to the rainbowist ideals of Nelson Mandela have for the wider Africa for the next 3, 4, 5, maybe 10, or even the next future? So these are some of the things I've been really thinking and really joining you to also join me in thinking about, and and share your thoughts as well. What do you think about this speech by Gayton Mckenzie here in this video? It was part of the lecture he gave in the Nelson Mandela Memorial Lecture. Share your thoughts. What do you think about it? Share your thoughts in the comments.